What's up?
What's happening?
It is Free Game Friday. We at Friday already, Chief.
Man, it seemed like I just got back in the States yesterday.
You did just get back. We got a special conversation today. I brought the man with the master plan in his hand, Chief Montan. And we're going to be talking to the men today about so many things, because you know we have the womb school. We do so much work around getting our sisters prepared, mind, body, spirit. But we have a co-ed group, but we also have an all men group. So a lot of men have been asking me, I see you got an African Center self-development plan and group for women. What about the men? What about the brothers? The brothers need to heal. Yes, the brothers need to heal, and the brothers need to have space to do so without being challenged. And even with the co-ed space, it's good that you guys are there, but we also have the warrior school. So we're going to be talking about some things today about what black men need to heal from and why we need that space, because you know I get very passionate talking about how black men ain't even given that space to say what's on their mind, and it's fashion now to talk against the black man. But first of all, shout out to the womb sisters and everybody out there. We are at Ty-lexine Cuisine out here in Jonesboro, and we'll put their address in the video as well. So
great African food.
Very good African food.
Yeah.
So let us know what kind of game you want to tell, you know, our brothers today, because I was talking about creating that space. And so what are y'all going to be talking about in the warrior school? And what should we talk about men healing?
So, like, one of the main things men need to heal from is, and this is something that's not talked about, is sexual trauma. Because you can't be a warrior and lead with sexual trauma. That's just impossible to do that, period. Because that's always going to be at the forefront. So, for example, when you walk into any space, when you walk into any arena, what leads is the sexual trauma. And then everything else follows that, which is you.
Yeah.
You know, which actually doesn't work. So you're actually speaking and having conversations and interactions from sexual trauma, which means that you're guarded.
How do you see black men have sexual trauma? Because it's a lot. We talked about the 1 in 4 black boys now are sexually molested. So that's one thing. I know we sweep that under the rug in the black community, but when you say their trauma, what are some things as a black man you know that y'all have, the trauma y'all have, y'all need to heal from first?
So a lot of the trauma, so I can speak from personal experience because I suffered from sexual trauma. I was molested when I was a kid. And so one of the things that ruled my life is just nobody was going to find out. And so that was in the background. Not my parents, not the women I dated. Nobody was going to find out. And so the way that it showed up is that whenever I was in a relationship, if the relationship became too intimate, and you know, women, y'all ask 1,001 questions until death. You're always asking questions.
Yes, we
because,
do.
You know, women want to know men intimately, and whenever it got to that point where I even felt the threat of something like a question coming up that will reveal the sexual trauma, I sabotaged the relationship. Totally. And as a result of sabotaging the relationship, you know, women, you know, you all will stick in a relationship,
right,
you know, and do what you can to work it out, and just to hide that secret and to have nobody know, because it's like a scarlet letter, it's like a badge of shame, period. Because what I wanted to hide was A, what happened to me, and B, like the stigma behind it.
Yeah.
You know, and people might think that, you know, I'm homosexual, which I'm not by no stretch of the imagination. But having gone through that experience, you know, in your mind, you know, your mind will play tricks on you, like, well, if people find out, they're gonna think that you're like that. Yeah. You know, so I did everything I could to hide it, including sabotage every single relationship I was in once the relationship got to the point which is too intimate. Do
you think men that are hypersexual now, that are very, you know, as they say, promiscuous, do you think that was something that showed up as well for you? Yeah, absolutely. So from a research perspective,
this is people in general, but we'll specifically talk about men. There's 2 things that happen. No, let me back up. 3 things that happen to people who've been molested. Either you become very promiscuous.
And talk up 2 from this.
Okay, either you become very promiscuous with the opposite sex, you become homosexual or you become a molester yourself. And for me, I became very promiscuous.
Yeah, wow.
And so a lot of times when you see men or you see women who are very promiscuous, we label them as, hoes. We call a man a hoe, dog, whatever. We call a woman a hoe, for the most part, and not knowing their past and what's actually driving them to commit that behavior. Because when you're socialized as a child and your first experience with sex is not within the confines of a relationship itself, that defines sex for you.
Yeah.
So then it becomes easy to go out and have relationships and not relationships, but have sex and not within the confines of a relationship itself, because that's your first exposure or your first experience with sex is that.
Okay.
There's no relationship, there's no intimacy, but no romantic intimacy involved on behalf of the child.
Sure.
At all.
Sure.
So that's your exposure to it. So that's what you think it is. So that's your definition of it. So you walk around through life not knowing that that's what's driving all of your behavior.
Wow.
And we label each other, but not knowing that, oh, this person actually doesn't see sex as something that's intimate. It's just something to do. Because whomever was doing it to them, it occurred as something to do.
Yeah.
There was no, like I said, there's no love, there's no intimacy on that level. There's no romance in it. So we go through life like that. It's unfortunate. So one of the things that we're going to do in the Warrior School is get all of that stuff out of the way, but we're going to only use traditional methods and techniques from a traditional perspective.
And so even men that have not experienced molestation, I want you to kind of talk about what is some stuff that they need to heal from. Some men, because how black people are like, well, that ain't happened to me, that ain't happened to me, that ain't happened to me. Okay, that may not have happened to you, bro, but we still need healing. So talk about some other stuff that black men, like I know we don't have that connection to our power, right?
Correct.
So what do you think the other things that y'all will be focused on for men that may need healing in other areas?
So even men who've been to prison, any man who has been in any war-related situation. That could be, whatever they experience in prison, whatever you experience in your neighborhood.
Speaker.
Because I had a conversation with my elders about 6 months ago when I was in Ghana in March. That's been 6 months, right? Yeah. And I asked them about being able to heal people from PTSD, because I know that within tradition, there are rituals done to heal people from PTSD, because after war, you're not even allowed, in many of our traditions, you're not even allowed to be introduced back into the community until you've gone through a series of rituals. And a lot of times it takes 6 months to go through that entire series. And so,
jollof rice. Ooh, and plantains. Ooh, nice.
And so,
we are not gonna need no hot sauce.
No. So when I spoke to my elders about it, I was talking specifically about PTSD. They went into more detail and said the same ritual that is used for PTSD is the same ritual that is used for people who suffer trauma. Because the experience on your soul, the experience on your spirit is the same.
Okay.
And so there's a ritual designed to cleanse all of that. They said there's no difference. Even if you see someone killed, or even if you experience any type of warlike situation, which is basically trauma on a large scale, you actually have to go through the same process.
Wow.
It's an exact ritual. There's no difference at all. Period.
Wow.
So those are some of the things that we're gonna go through, and I'm gonna have the men. It's all voluntary, because I'm a huge fan of free will.
Sure.
If you want to be relieved of that trauma, and really acknowledge your warrior self. And then we'll go into detail what your warrior self looks like. But we'll talk about it from a traditional African perspective.
This is going to be good. I'm just glad that you have this space for them, because I have so many men hit me up. Like, all right, they don't know that the womb cleansing book is for them. An intro to breaking soul ties and womb cleansing. It's for you too.
Bella.
Bella says she's hungry now, right? And we need to learn why we got sick as Africans. How do we get sick psychologically, spiritually? And yes, it's some womb healing techniques in the back, but how we got here as black people, talking about, being cut from source, our original African spiritual systems, why that was. We need to go back to that. And so I'm just glad that we have this space for men. And like I said, with that space, you're going to be focused on only them. This is not co-ed. Okay,
Yes.
So for women that are coming to the retreat, this is an all-women's retreat. But at some point, I'm sure you're going to have an all-male retreat too, because they like Don't leave the brothers out. Get a brother some. You know what I mean?
Our retreat is going to be in Ghana.
It's going to be in Ghana. See, he trying to up, go up a notch with it. You know what I mean? But we're going to have ours here, the one October 20th and 21st. You'll be able to be with Chief Montana day 2. And even if you just want to do day 2 for the rituals and spiritual renewal, you can do that as well. Right. Okay, we actually have a woman coming with her daughter, 7-year-old. Nice. She's going to do that. So pressing that reset button on your sexual past.
Yes.
Let's talk about that just really quick, and then I'm going to jump out of here because we want to dig in this food. And I got a 2 o'clock nail appointment at Poochie Paul's Nail Salon. My girl Michelle about to do my nails, and I'm going to probably go live from there too. But this, tell us about that whole thing, day 2, really quick, about what they're going to be doing. Just pressing the reset button on your sexual past. Is it can you do that?
Oh, absolutely. So we hear a lot about, we have sexual partners and we actually inherit all of their triumphs and failures. We do when we have sex with them, and you don't want to.
You inherit all their triumphs and failures when you have sex with somebody.
Yeah.
I just had to tell the people in the back, so the people in the back can hear.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you do, and so the reality is when that relationship is done, you don't want to keep any of it. You don't want to keep their triumphs. The triumphs will have you long for that person. And you darn sure don't want to keep their failures.
Hell no.
At all. And so there's a ritual designed to actually go in and clean up all of that stuff from your past. Every single last bit of it. I've done the ritual before. I have some other students who've done the ritual. And I can talk about it, but I'm the person who's selling it.
Yeah, obviously.
It's like talking about your own product, but it's phenomenal.
Okay.
I mean, it is absolutely phenomenal. And my students who've actually gone to Ghana, who've had that done, they were like, "Whoa, this is a whole nother level."
See, y'all still your ex still on your vagina,
right? And you'll get. When you do that, you'll get a clear understanding of what you actually locked away. There are aspects of you that you locked away because of those prior relationships. Because remember, when you get in a relationship, you cannot be who you are in the relationship. Both people alter themselves to accommodate the other person. And do you ever unalter yourself? No.
Right.
You just take whatever that alteration is into the next relationship. And so you're constantly altering. And so when you do this ritual, it actually untangles all that altering.
My God.
Is what it does. And so it's a sense of freedom.
And that's what we need if we want to attract that new person, and even your job situation, your money stuff can't even come to you because you just bound and wound up, because that'll block that too.
Absolutely.
But that's what day 2 is going to be about. Day 1, as I said, it's a black-owned, beauty experience. We're going to be going to T&S Beauty Supply, doing our thing and having that black-owned shopping district experience. And then later on that night, it's going to be Meet More Men VIP, going out with me. Just studying the art of going out, practicing our communication skills. And week 3 of Finding Your Fire course this Monday night, Chief Montana's going to jump in and talk to us a little bit about how to communicate with men, the stuff that we don't know, the stuff that we need to know and learn. And for the guys that want us male-focused and African-centered space for black men so that you can heal. For black men that want to acknowledge that they need healing. We actually have a very evolved society now and network of black men and brilliant black intellectuals. They realize they need help now, and I like that. So you guys got that space. The link is right there.
Yeah, it's right there.
What's up, Sabira? Hey,
Sabira.
We wish you was here eating it with us.
There's something you said maybe it triggered a thought.
What?
As black men, we don't even greet each other in a traditional way. We greet each other in a very Eurocentric, very aggressive way.
What would be the more Afrocentric way to greet?
There's a way, like when you're on the continent and men greet each other and we shake hands. It's in a very non-threatening way. It's not saying that I'm more dominant than you or you're more dominant than me. So we're taught in the West, when you shake somebody's hand, you give them a firm handshake, and then you pull them. That's just showing dominance. That's like a dog. Dogs show dominance by getting on each other, humping.
That's right. Okay, yeah.
And so we're trying to show which one is the alpha, which one is not.
Right there.
But when you're in tradition, it doesn't matter if you're the alpha or not. You shake each other, you shake hands, but you just lay your hand in the other person's hand. There's no grip. There's no nothing.
I notice you don't use that alpha male stuff either, because we got a lot of men that saying alpha males, but y'all are real feminine. Right. Men that are real alpha males never have to say it. I'm so sorry.
That is whack.
It's like we have this society of very feminine men where they got to tell you that they're an alpha man.
Yeah.
How un-alpha is that? Warriors never have to say it. You know, what's understood needs no explanation.
That's like giving yourself a nickname.
Wait,
nobody gives themselves a nickname.
I'm so finished.
Your friends and family give you the nickname.
I'm done.
But to say you're alpha.
No, that's like loving your own post. Fuck that. How you gonna post and like it and then love your own post? I see people laughing at their own post too. Check yourself. Go ahead. That's really sad.
Yeah, so we're gonna cover that.
Oh my God!
What does it mean to be an alpha? Like you don't even in tradition, you don't even hear that word.
That's very, very Eurocentric.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because they're the ones who want to dominate.
Boop. That's what that sounded like to me. I said all that.
Yeah.
I said that's what white dudes do.
Yeah.
They always. I said that's not when you insecure. They got to do all of that, and we got that from them. I'm not trying to offend nobody or whatever. But that's that challenge and stuff. You gotta have a pissing contest. Don't number white boys do that, baby. When you African, when you're a warrior, baby, it's just understood.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is, in tradition, you will see two grown men walking down the street holding hands, walking side by side,
so secure in their masculinity,
laughing, having a conversation.
Honey, these men over here, you can't even tell them that you like their shirt without them saying no homo, no homo.
Right.
But that shirt all right. That shirt all right. That shirt all right. Why you just can't, hey, bro, that looks nice. They can't do it. They so they so repressed and suppressed here.
But, I didn't realize how much it impacted me until the very first time I went to Ghana. And Alu's brother, we were in the market. And if you ever been, to the continent and you're in the market, it's like a zoo, so to speak. It's so fast paced. People, it looks very disorganized, but it's the most organized organization that I've seen. It's very organized. And so we're walking through the market, and I'm like falling behind because I'm like a kid in the candy store. My eyes big. I'm just looking around like wow. And so his brother came to me and he grabbed my hand and he held my hand to make sure I didn't get lost through the entire market. And I was sweating bullets.
Because he was holding his hand?
Right.
Your programming?
My programming kicked in, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Is he holding my hand? But, I knew that I knew he wasn't homosexual or anything like that.
Of course.
But I became very clear that that's just how I'm programmed. That me and I'm supposed to do that. But he had nothing going on with that. He just wanted to make sure I was safe.
You said so much that programming. We talk about triggering that programming.
And so to even be with someone holding your hand, and the awkward thing is, even when we walked out of the market into a clearing, he wouldn't let my hand go. And I was standing there like, wait a minute. Hold up.
I'm good. I'm straight. Straight.
But the funny thing is, I gave myself permission to be with it how it was. And that was so liberating for me. It was extremely liberating.
That's amazing.
To do that.
I would like us to put ourselves in more scenarios like that where it's more of, you're in a real African context and your European programming can get challenged. My European program gets challenged so much. Yeah. Even in your relationships, ladies. In your relationships with men and the desires that they have, their true nature and what you've been told is yours and what it should be. We talked about that in the book. Your desires, nature is how you're really programmed, and that's going to win at the end of the day. Not the laws of society. The laws of nature are going to win. And until we start to really be able to see that and see ourselves as spirits and as animals too, we got to really get comfortable getting outside of this programming.
Right.
And your relationships and the confines that we see it in. We got to get outside that too. But I ain't finna say nothing else, because like I said, my programming has gotten triggered too, even in relationships, even when it comes to myself, how I see myself, But everybody, I'm just glad you guys joined us. This warrior school is gonna be great, and day 2. That work, the spiritual work that I want to do with Chief Montana is going to be wonderful. And I'm sure you guys will get more information in the Warrior School about the male retreat in Ghana. And I'm sure that'll come up in the future very soon.
Yeah, because the times, which has only been one time, because usually when I go to Ghana, it's all women who go on the trip. Because the truth of the matter is, women are more spiritually courageous than men.
Okay.
However, once men come over to that side, men are more dedicated than women. Does that make sense? So that's how it usually works, like that. Men are more dedicated. They bring more rigor to what they're doing, bring more rigor to their life. They become like soldiers for the most part. And this last trip that I was on, there were two guys that came with me, and my elders, the men and the women, were so excited to see men. They were wondering if there were ever any men in the States who were willing to come. Period. Because the value that they put on men, the value that they put on women, the women who go, they get the value that's on women. It's a high value. But the men got the value that's put on men as being a man and being who you are in the fullness of your masculinity. Not European masculinity, but African masculinity. And there's a huge distinction between the two.
And you guys need a space to talk about that, because when you guys try to have conversations in the open public, we challenge you, black women challenge you, and dictate and all of that. And y'all need a real space where you can be Africans without that yang, 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 yang. Because I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it for you, okay? And women, this is for men only. When it says men only, the link, don't send a request. Because that's how slow we can act. And I'm tired of that too. Okay, so when it says men only, guess what that means? Who it's for? Men. But they got degrees and they can't read. But anyway, we need help with that too. And so I need y'all to follow directions. Don't send a request. Let this be for the men only, instead of you trying to peek your head in. Well, I just want to offer my perspective. No, that's not what this is for, okay?
Right.
He said, I'm just here to see Art go un-vegan and eat that fried chicken. I ain't gonna be eating no fried chicken now. If you want to see me go un-vegan, we don't have no chicken here, baby. This is plantains, jollof rice.
Plantains. That's it.
We're at Ty-lexine Cuisine.
Yeah.
We had to set this backdrop, this African backdrop, to talk about this warrior school for the men. Get a brother some. It's all this attention on women. And we just heavy, and we need balance, right? We always talk about my eye. Stretch your arms out, my eye.
What's with your aunt?
What is it? The 42 laws of my eye?
Which is
all
great.
Of that. And that's fine, but we ain't got no balance. And so...
And we're going to talk about that also.
I need the comedic science, and the comedic science brothers. Don't come in here trying to assert your dominance. Yeah, I studied at the 3rd degree in masonry and Freemason. Don't do that.
Because if
that's not what this is for.
If you haven't gone to the continent, and if you haven't gone to the continent, and you haven't gone to those places where the laws of Ma'at still exist, then you have to question whether or not you're truly practicing that, because all that stuff is still in existence. In the Sudan, you go to the Sudan, which is old Kemet, which is Kush. You go there, people there are still practicing the same thing. So if you haven't gone there, then I don't know my question. But anyway, that's all we got.
We ain't got nothing to say if you ain't went to the continent. If you ain't got no real elders, y'all don't fall for all of this out here. This is the real deal. Thank you guys for joining us. For the men that want a specific place just for you to focus on your healing, if you are acknowledging that you even need healing and you don't have your ego in the way, if you know that, hey, I need a space just to learn how to be better.
They need healing.
We need healing.
Because
I want you to get it.
Elders will tell you that people from the West have a disease, have an illness. I'm going to say this real quick when we can go. And so a friend of mine went to the continent, went up to northern Ghana, near Tamale, and he was with an elder. The elder told him to hold his hands out by his side. The elder put his chest to his chest, started speaking his traditional language, but he was speaking an ancient version of it that's not even really spoken anymore. And all of a sudden, this white stuff started oozing out of the palm of his hands. And the elder told him that every person that he meets from the West has this illness or this disease. Period. So to say that you're good and you don't need healing is a lie. Period. You carry that disease. There's some white ooze that come out of your hand. But anyway, that's another one.
Y'all will talk more about that in the group. Day 2, I'm gonna send y'all a link. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully I could probably do another update today from the Black-owned nail shop, Poochie Paws. But we're at Ty-lexine Cuisine, eating this delicious jollof rice. Y'all see this? This is amazing. And have a wonderful Friday.
All right, peace.